Adedoyin Balogun's passion for fashion was ignited at a young age, and he has spent decades honing his craft to become one of the most respected names in the business. In this exclusive interview, he takes us on a journey through his remarkable career, sharing the triumphs, setbacks, and valuable lessons learned along the way.
Hi everyone, welcome to Mindset and Milestones with Tekamba. I hope you've rested. Rest is key. Don't overwork yourself. You have a whole lot to achieve in this life, and we're looking on you to achieve them. Today, we are going to talk about an interesting stuff. Something that we have in our houses, something we have on our body, something that impacts a society, something that empowers people. We're talking about the fashion industry. Wow. The way I'm even calling it is deep, because a lot of people are seeing money flying everywhere. And some just see it as a necessity, something that they will just put on their body, cover their nakedness. But some industries, Abi, how will I put it? Not really. Some countries have made a lot of money from it. So you have impacted GDP and so on and so forth. Today in our midst, a friend of close to 15 years is on set with us, Mr. Baldon. Doing. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. And it's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Thank you, sir. You really come a long way.
Well,
And that means you made a lot of money. Yeah.
money, yes, a lot, I'm not sure. But that's relative.
I don't know. How did you get here?
So I get asked that a lot. And I studied pure and applied chemistry, University of Jos. And it was one of those ASU strikes where Abacha had threatened, literally, to sack all the lecturers. So it meant that we had no end in sight. There was no negotiation. There was no discussion. You know, the negotiations and talks had broken down, you know, irreparably. So here we were, young, youthful, passionate, full of energy, and really there was nothing to do at home. And I remember every time I needed to get things, that to go out, and you ask your parents, they'll forever give you a schooling on how difficult it is to make money and you don't appreciate money. So I said, okay, I needed to find something doing. Now, if a friend of mine, when in school together, her mom had traveled to the US and I brought T-shirts. So people had given me some T-shirts I had sold. And that was really my first foray. You know, it made sense. Okay. I got another batch, sold. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When I sold out, so I said, okay, I need more T-shirts. She said, it's finished. I said, it can't finish. He said, no, her mom just went to the US and this was just like hand carried. You know, the way you typically just buy things you can flip. Yeah. So, and I said to myself, okay, there's obviously a demand. I had mates, I had uncles who liked the product and needed more. Yeah. So that was the beginning, I would say, you know, and the birth of what is now Baldon. Because what I had to now do was critically look at the products, you know, okay, where could I source this fabric? Where can I get good craftsmanship? Where can I put it together? And could I sell it? You know, so I think that's where, so we're talking of a journey that is probably almost 30 years old. Yes, you know.
You were 30 years old in the industry.
Yeah,
as Baldon,
informally, not as Baldon.
Okay, as Baldon.
Yes.
As a brand, Baldon.
Yes.
How many years?
As a brand, I would say we are about 25.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Whoa. So, you know, something would lead to something. And 25 years, I'm sure you've looked back and like, hi, thank God I made that decision.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure some of your friends that probably were still looking at government are not where you are today.
Yeah. So I'm what I do tell people is that I'm grateful that one was able to discover one's passion and make it profitable. However, it was not always a smooth sail, all right? Because it's not like this generation now, whereby I'm a creative, I'm a content. What are you doing? And you have supportive, parents and supportive systems. Back then, if you're not reading accounting, law, engineering, medicine, pharmacy, then you're not in school then now. You're just passing through.
Yeah, my brother read finance.
So if you're not reading any of the courses that were considered as professional, then you would amount to no good. So my father had told me that, okay, so pure and applied chemistry, you really can't do much with it. Would you go in for medicine and a second degree, so as a medical doctor? And that was when I mustered courage and said, I wanted to have a discussion with you. And I want to really pursue this fashion thing. And he was livid, literally, and said, I'm going to disown you. Yeah,
He threatened to disown
he told
you
me,
because you want to do...
I remember where I was. It was at the Keja. We were about turning. I was in the car, and the man lost it.
That he wants to disown you because you're doing fashion.
Yeah, that's what is tailoring.
What year was this?
This was probably early 2000s. When I just finished, because of course I'd finished uni, getting ready for NYC. And he was saying, okay, would you want to serve before going to med school, or would you want to go to med school and serve? So it was at that point, I said, okay.
We stop here.
This is where I want to be.
Did you have inspiration as of that time? Did you have role models, people that were already in the business because right now we have a lot of them everywhere.
Right.
It's easy for a young person to say, I want to be like, for instance, a lady now, you want to be like Vicky James because she's all over the place with content and social media, and you're seeing her beautiful jobs. Or you want to be like Ugomoye, or, the internet makes these people accessible.
Right.
But back then we didn't have...
There was no phones.
So
did you have a mentor? There was no phone.
Okay, so you didn't have anybody, because I know that Moody was already a big time successful fashion. No, this is my space, so I can call these names, So at the end of the day, how did you keep going? Because it just looked like it dawned on you, and no role models, no influence, and you're moving. Like starting a car without having fuel coming in between.
No, without having a manual. As to tell you how to move from gear and clutch and all that. So my mom had a store, or still has a store at Alagomeji, this place in Yaba called Alagomeji. And there was this fashion designer that I'd always pass his place. And like, I'm going to be like this guy.
Who?
Kesi Jabari.
I've never heard of.
Exactly. So a lot of younger people do not. And back then, he was like one of the raves of the moment.
Is he still alive?
He's still alive.
Shout out to you, sir. Please, let's see you someday. Please.
He's alive. He
inspired a soul.
He relocated to United States.
Oh, okay.
And of course the business just died.
Because he relocated.
Yeah, relocated. Of course, the way the Nigerian system is. It's just now that people are beginning to understand structure and put structure in place in their businesses. And even at that, it's also still tricky, So I saw Kesi, then Dakova.
Yeah, Dakova.
I live my dad's house is in Ikeja, so there was a Sophisticat. So these were just brands you saw at a distance, and that was the best. But for me, I felt, okay, it's possible, and I did it afraid. I say that because I did have reservations even while I was passionate and zealous. And I went to God, and this is truthfully, and I was saying, look, I want to be selling, I'm making shirts, because then I started with shirts, t-shirts and shirts. And I like what I'm doing, but is there any future in this thing? And I remember asking sincerely that how many shirts would I need to sell to buy a tire?
So you're looking at, because people are talking about fashion, but you're already looking at the monetization of
because
business.
It had to be realistic.
Not just passion.
Because you see, passion will die when there's no sustenance, whether you like it or not. Do you understand? So it must go side by side. There must be passion and there must be profit. All right? So you're passionate, you're zealous, yes. But it comes a point in time whereby
You have to pay bills.
the bills will not stop. So it must make sense. It must make sense. You want to marry. You want to have kids.
You have to take care of someone's daughter.
Yes.
Or
Now that
the
is
female,
that
what
is,
do they do?
That is even on
men's
one aspect. What about the workmen? All right. What about the vendors that supply you? What about the house you're going to live in or the workspace you're going to rent? What about the cost of acquisition of machines and expansion? All right. So it must make sense. Do you get my point? So, I mean, early, those were issues that I had already adopted into my spirit that, look, if you're going to do this thing, how will it make sense? And I got answers. Says a man diligent in his work, he shall serve before
Kings.
and not mere.
Yeah.
So, okay, that was point one. He said, whatever your hands find it to do. And, okay, so that was point two. Then there was a third one. Like, look, it is I'm the Lord that maketh rich and addeth sorrow. There's one other scripture. I can't, I'm sure I will remember.
It looks like you're a very deep Christian.
Well,
Does that help?
for me,
Or does faith help?
you
Basically.
you cannot, and I still tell people I mentor, you cannot, and I repeat it, you cannot run any business enterprise without being a person of faith. It's not possible. You might not call it faith, but you cannot. How do you know you will make sales tomorrow?
Do you see it in the spirit first?
When you say, do you see it in the spirit? You see, I don't also want us to go overboard, because it's a podcast where we're talking to a diverse crowd, all right?
Yeah.
The fundamentals, let me use that word, must be right, all right? And like one of my mentors would say, look, the reason why God gave us a brain is for us to think, all right? Everything is not just prayer and fasting, right? There are things that logic thinking would solve. So I needed to, first of all, settle it in my heart that this is what I wanted to do first, so that when discouragement, when failures, when obstacles, when challenges come along the way, it rise up on your inside and you know that you were born for this, and you know that this is what you were called to do, and that keeps you going.
Do you have children? Is there any of them that is taking after you?
So I have 4 boys, right? And each one has their own thing they're doing. I've spotted the creativity gene in like 2 of them. However, I'm also being careful not to be like my dad, in the sense that I would like them to also explore and learn. You can't, so my belief is that you can't prepare life for the children, but you can prepare your children for life.
Wow.
And what does preparation mean? It means that they need to be able to make their mistakes. They need to be able to explore. So you move from micromanaging and parenting to being on the sideline and coaching, all right? And telling them, look, this. So presently I have 3 generations of kids. I have the under 10, I have teenager, and I have in their 20s, And it's interesting because the mindsets are different, and the outlooks and perspectives are also different. So while I see a lot of creativity in them, I'm also helping them to channel it, positively. Because as a young person, sometimes you don't think about the consequences.
Yeah.
You don't think about the end. You just want to do this. You just want to do that. So I want to make content that I want to do this. It's fine. This is the time I believe that they can explore, and it's important that they explore now rather than getting advanced in life and having regrets later.
Yeah.
Or if I had known. I get to meet a lot of people that ought to be in the fashion space, and are bankers, and are engineers. And just by engagement and their attention to detail, I know that they're in the wrong, but sometimes it's the fear of the unknown. Sometimes it's the fact that what would society say? Sometimes it's the fact that, can this really pay my bills? And that holds them back and keeps them at a 9 to 5.
Okay, so the Nigerian fashion industry is perceived to be up to, I think, $6.1 billion annually. That's huge in an economy. Yet, it just looks like we are not doing anything. I'm not going to the US yet because it's much more than that. What do you think is the biggest challenge right now? I use the word biggest. There are challenges, but what do you think is the biggest challenge right now in the fashion space? Because it looks like every young person wants to be a fashion designer. Every young person wants to be creative. With social media now, it looks like everybody is doing it. So far, what do you think is the biggest challenge?
So it's difficult to say biggest challenge because there's no one big challenge.
Okay.
It's a gamut of different things. And until we're able to fill in the gaps and create a system, we're just running in circles. So let me start by saying I think the $6.1 billion is grossly underreported. I think it's much more than that. However, the challenge is not the $6.1 billion or $15 billion. If you ask me, I'll tell you that all that money, or a good chunk of that money, doesn't come to Nigeria. It goes to Vietnam, it goes to China, it goes to Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, and all the major garment countries. All right. So let's go back to the challenge. What are the challenges? Let's start from point one. How are we breeding our machinists? Machinists are the ones we call tailors. How are we raising them? I can tell you for free that a lot of the people who are tailors today are tailors out of poverty, not out of passion. All right? So there's no clear-cut, our vocational training institutes are dead. All right? There must be a deliberate, policy of government, intention of government to ensure that this is kick-started. Why do I say that? You need to have a pool of tailors, machinists, abroad they're called machinists, to be able to select from, right? So that is point one, all right? And because if you follow a curriculum, they get to learn proper, not just the tailoring, conduct. When you graduate, you are found worthy in learning and character. Learning, and you find out that your best machinists, your best tailors have the worst character.
It's true.
And the ones that have good character are not fantastic they are not fantastic tailors, but you're
very
manage
them.
So it would address that because there'll be a curriculum. Just like it's a school, it's a uni, it's a polytechnic, it's a higher institution. So from secondary, you move there, which is what the 6334 was meant to speak to.
Okay.
You had 6 years of primary education, 3 years junior secondary. Then the secondary, you branch out. You could have mainstream secondary and vocational, whereby you could learn welding, carpentry, tailoring, and all the artisan kind of work.
Yes.
So when you come out, to a large extent, you have a good working knowledge. And if you're not going to a high institution, you can be gainfully employed or you can start some form of a business. We don't have that. All the people we employ or you have employed or that are in the market are people who have learned from the guy on the road, on the street, right? They've learned his idiosyncrasies. They've learned how to lie. They've learned how to... And I'll tell you one shocker. So I had a tailor, one of my tailors, he's no longer with me. And he says, okay, you're always big on deadlines. You're always... That don't you know that any tailor that is good must disappoint?
It's a mindset.
I said, I don't understand. They said, look, if you deliver when you say you deliver, customers will assume you don't have work. And I had to do a deep dive. Truly, when they do their freedom, that's like their graduation. One of the things is a prayer, and they pour libation on it. You bring schnapps, you bring biscuits and all that, and they pour libation, and may you disappoint your customers.
Really?
Yes. Go and ask anybody from
So
Southwest.
I think a lot of people that your tailors have been disappointing you. There's a foundational problem.
Yes. No, it is. That's why I said it's not a challenge. There are challenges. Do you understand? So let's start from there.
Yeah.
To even say, okay, how do we get this sorted out?
I mean, orientation is a
critical.
big thing
yes,
here.
It's critical. So that is point one. The people that are in the fashion space, right? How much knowledge do they even have about this thing? And
what do you mean by the people in the fashion space?
So as a fashion entrepreneur,
okay,
it's not just enough to be passionate.
Okay.
Oh, I like fashion. Okay. And do you understand?
Yeah.
So it's the assumption is, oh, I go to the local market, buy fabric, give a good tailor and sell. Okay. It will get a time where that won't be enough. Do you understand the temperament of yourself? Do you understand the temperament of your tailors? Do you understand the temperament of your clients? Do you know how to deal with them? One of the major problems we have as a people is where we lack customer centricity. Our customer service is very poor as a people. It's a general Nigerian problem. Yeah.
Okay, generally.
Nigerian problem. It's just a Nigerian problem.
They don't really care so much about
it's just a Nigerian problem. I mean, you see it everywhere.
Is it because this podcast goes beyond Nigeria? Do you think it's an African problem?
So I wouldn't say it's an African problem because I have visited other African countries.
And they're better?
Yes. At least I've been
to
Kenya.
It's a Nigerian problem then?
You find that the Nigerians can be very standoffish.
Why?
It's just us as a people. We're very brash. We're driven. And you're very Nigerian. So I'll give you different instances.
Okay, I'm listening.
You are in the car. You're driving. And this person obviously is doing something wrong or maybe just... And you're pointing. He will insult you. Mm-hmm. He will insult you.
Because he probably saw the father doing it when he was in the car.
Yeah, he will insult you.
The person that taught him to drive.
You know, to say me they come. Or you know to say I want to enter your front. You should slow down. Do you understand? Yeah. Go to the airport and ask a simple question about a flight and see the reply you'll get. Come late for a flight. And I'm not saying they will board you. I'm saying you'll be treated with disdain. You see, here lies the difference. In the United Kingdom, which I'm very familiar with,
okay,
they will turn you back with a smile. Sorry, sir, I'm afraid you won't be able to board this flight. Courtesy.
Yeah.
That's still going to board you any which way. Do you understand? But with courtesy, because you're first and foremost a human being. All right? So that's very important, Go to the police station.
Wow. That's why are you taking us to these places that is always affecting us?
Because I'm talking
police station.
Because I'm talking about the basics. Yeah, because you said it's a Nigerian problem.
Yeah.
So I'm just...
But they say police are friends, but I've been seeing them.
So there's an adage that I heard and I held it. They said a policeman is not someone that you should be too close to, but it's not someone you should be too far away from.
Wow. So like necessary...
Well, you talk.
I'm sorry.
You understand? What am I trying to say?
Allegedly.
What am I trying to say? We need to do better. Yeah. And these are things that as business people, because when you're a fashion entrepreneur, right, you need to understand yourself. You need to understand the business. You need to understand. So you want to do what? You want to do haute couture. What is haute couture? You want to do suits. What are suits? What are suits made of? What kind of suits are there? Mm-hmm. How do you advise? What are the kind of materials? Do you get my point? Mm-hmm. It's not just enough to just like the glitz and the glamour, right? You need to educate yourself. You need to go and school. You need to understand that it's not just enough to be passionate. You need to understand that this business is similar to you owning a bank. And you have the capacity to grow it with the right knowledge. So I've talked about the tailors. I'm not talking about the fashion entrepreneurs that want to run this business.
Okay. So someone have said to me that probably the reason why some people are not getting right is because they're not on the machine. And I know that I'm exposed to a level to know that abroad is not you have different departments. You know, you have people that design, you have people that source of fabric, you have because it's just like, oh wow, if you're sitting on the machine, so how do you judge this matter?
So
if I have to put it this way.
I hear that, I get that a lot. People say, oh, do you sew? I said, I don't sew. He said, but you have sewn before. I said, no. He said, but you know how to sew? I said, no. Mm-hmm. And I said, oh, they'll be cheating you. I said, I've been in this thing for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
And I'm still in this industry.
Yeah.
I've been privileged to do courses abroad. And a course that I did in Milan, very eye-opening. I went during the Milan Fashion Week. And we passed Giorgio Armani's atelier, right? Very enlightening. Past his house. And it's funny because, guess what? The system is... Okay, so let me start. You have a design team.
Yeah.
Okay? From the design team, they take both back and forth. This is not going to work. This is going to work. This is a color palette we're using for this season.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one. You have the pattern makers, the people that will create the pattern and they draft it, right?
Yeah.
Then you have the tailors. But the tailors you have, right, are not the tailors are not our kind of tailors. They'll create the
mold, the pattern.
They'll roll it out.
Yeah.
It can be edited back and forth until they've created something. All right. Now, all that is gathered and made into what is called a collection. A collection is put on the runway. So it could be spring, summer, it could be autumn, winter. All right. Now, at the fashion shows, it's not you and I that are there. The front seat, you have the influencers. You have the buyers, they call them fashion buyers. You have the press. They are the ones that have these reserved seats in front. All right. Now, after the show, there's a private viewing again. At that point, the buyers are saying, oh, I really like this one that model so wore. I want 500 pieces. I like this one that this person wore. I like this. I want 700. So the quantities are taken and are aggregated. All right. And payments are made and all that. Now, here's the interesting part. The production is outsourced to what they call production houses. Mm-hmm. Right? Be them, and that's why you will see all these top designers, you see made in. It could be made in Bangladesh, it could be made in Pakistan, it could be made in. Why? Because what they found out is that the cost of labor in mainland Europe is expensive. For them to compete favorably, they want to benchmark and they want to use the Asians, the Chinese.
Yeah.
Now, why are people using the Asians? Which is where we should be looking at. Why are people using the Asians? Why?
Because everybody talks made in China.
Yeah, but why?
But why?
Good. Because going back to the fundamentals, they have vocational institutes that have churned out this army of artisans. That is one. Yes.
You will continue. So this thing happened just a few years ago in China after Nigerian independence. Do you think it will take us a long time to establish this system that the Chinese or the Asian country have to achieve this amazing result?
So first and foremost, you're going to, let me use an analogy for you. You're going on a trip to Lagos, right? From Abuja, but you're facing Sokoto, and you're driving at 180. When you get to Lagos?
So we are not even starting the journey.
That's the point.
Did you hear? We've not started the journey in Nigeria.
We've not even started because there has to be intentionality. We have to be deliberate about it. We're not talking about lip service. We're not talking about empowerment by giving one machine.
That's what they do.
We need to stop that. Listen, it's more, it would make more sense for the economy. It will make more sense for the average Nigerian. It will make more sense for the industry if existing fashion entrepreneurs are saying, okay, so you have 10. Can you take 90 more to make it 100? What do you need? We'll give you a grant.
But they've been doing that.
Who?
They claim to be doing that.
Where?
Yeah. They do
I
it
don't
a
want-
lot. We see it on TV. They give machines.
No,
they
you're
do
not
that.
getting me. You're not getting what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I said existing fashion entrepreneurs who already have proven.
By
record.
what? By their sales?
Not by sale. Somebody has been in business for 10 years or 5 years. It takes a lot to be in business for 5 years, 10 years. It takes
Yeah.
a lot. Right?
I've been around in business for 10 years.
For 10 years. How many
That's
staffs
this
do you
part
and
of
how many
business.
staffs do you have?
How many what?
How many tailors do you have?
Tailors, I have like, I think with my office, everybody less 15 or so.
15.
Yes.
I asked the government, I said, look, I need you to pay more taxes and more revenue, right? But I want to support your business and I want to get more people off the streets. Can you take 150? Do your maths. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
Because big countries don't grow with the multinational. That's what we don't understand. The big countries grow by the government supporting the SMEs. Then they're upscaled.
Say it again, sir.
The big countries as we know it today do not grow by multinationals. The multinational
By telling them
companies.
to come and
No,
invest.
it's not by the multinational companies. Do you understand? The multinationals are already multinationals. They don't need you.
But they tell them to come and invest.
So unfortunately, I'm also being careful with my words.
Please.
That really doesn't grow the economy.
By coming to invest.
So they come to invest. What do they come to invest, come and do? They come to take their businesses. Do you understand? They already have their parent companies in their home countries. All right. So really, they repatriate their profits back.
That's why
means
we are still having bad roads.
That's not just bad roads now. Okay, so in the last 2 years, Guinness has left.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what they've done is that they've left a trading company in their stead. Do you understand? Lever Brothers has closed a lot of their production lines.
Yeah.
Do you understand? But what they've done is, because Lever Brothers and because you have African free trade, they can easily produce in Ghana and flood your Nigerian market. So have they empowered your people?
We are disadvantaged.
And my point exactly.
Yeah.
But Anete Kamba, for instance, a Baldon, a Vodi, where are we going to go to as our parent or home country? This is what we are, Nigerians. This is who we are. This is where we are. So even if you open branches around the world, this is still your base. So it is wiser, it's smarter, to look at how can we grow these people. I really like what, I think that was Jonathan Era, You Win.
You win, yeah. But a lot of people collected those grants.
Yes.
And I don't see anybody with interviews that
Yes.
have been going with social media presence
Yes.
saying, oh, thank God for you win. Oh,
Yes.
that was how I got to where I am. So that means it wasn't a success.
But I would disagree with you slightly. It could have been better, but I do know of people who started with the UN grant. But like everything, if it's not monitored and there are no benchmarks, of course, we change our governments, that's thrown and consigned to the annals of history, and we have moved on to the next one. There's no continuity, it's what it is. Do you get my point? So I would rather, if that was, it could be modified. So you knew that if you're collecting these grants, even though they were not going to be paid back, there were KPIs, which I think they even did. Before they release the second tranche, they'll release a tranche to you. You must have met some benchmarks before they release another set of, another tranche of cash to you. Do you understand? Because we don't understand that we're in a vicious cycle. That guy that is on the road, that is unemployed, is a risk to you and I. It's a risk. And we have amazing talent. So I see fashion designers and I see individual brilliance. But that's not going to solve our problem.
So government has to come in. We've been saying that for years.
So
how can we make them more accountable? Because we've been saying government should come in.
So hold on, I'm coming. Now, I have individual designers that have fantastic ideas.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's not just about that one outfit on Instagram.
Yeah.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you do 1,000? And the 1,000 would have the same QA quality assurance, quality control, consistency across board.
Yeah, because there's someone I know that is always talking about consistency.
Because that's it. Because on scale, you see what we need. You see, talk about challenge.
Yeah.
Another thing is we need to learn the art of scaling. All this, we're doing 10 kaftan, 2 kaftan. It's nice. It sustains us in our own little microcosm. But can we do it 1,000? Because when you want to go into partnership, when you want to have chains of stores, when you want to stock, right, around the world, you need to do the numbers.
Okay, so that means you're saying two things now. Number one is government coming in to meet a structure or to bring a particular structure. Number two is the people themselves being willing to learn a skill. Because it's one thing to say, I want to do this thing, is another thing to have that willingness. Because right now in Nigeria, everybody wants to make it fast. Shout out to our brother. He just bought a Rolls Royce to celebrate his 50th. That's what some fashion designers are seeing already. The goal is to build that big plaza and buy a Rolls Royce.
It took him 10 years to build that. 10.
I can remember when he started.
So the issue is, I think our younger people should be interested in the story rather than the glory. If you understand the story, you achieve the glory. We always just see the glory, but nobody wants to take time. We've talked about government, and sometimes I'm not saying it's not just about throwing money at the problem. There must be a roadmap. Just where we have roadmap for power, roadmap for housing, there must be a roadmap. I believe after agriculture, and this is my personal belief, after agriculture, fashion has an oil and gas. Fashion probably has the biggest potential to be a net earner, a money spinner for the country.
Because even the people that don't know what to do in government, they are wearing clothes.
Everybody. So with the challenging times, recession from Buhari to present administration Tinubu, I'm yet to see anybody going naked. Even the madmen.
They still wear clothes.
They are knowledgeable enough to wear something, okay? It tells me, and if we have a population of over 200 million people, the question is, what are they wearing? Okay, so it also now speaks, going back from our agriculture, what happened to our cotton? What happened to our textiles? What happened to our engineries? What happened to because all these things tie in together. Do you understand? So you have the textile mills in Kaduna back then, and they're all moribund. Do you get my point? So what happened to that? If you throw in money, are these people going to resuscitate? But guess what? There are also new technologies, meaning that you can also shrink these factories. You don't even need all these big size machines again. Yeah. There are smaller, more efficient machinery. What can we do in that space? You know, if you are bringing in FDIs, can they invest in that space? You know, can the ground rules be put there? So you have that as, okay, we're going to create our own fabric. Because I tell you one funny thing. Around Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa, they look up to Nigeria for their fashion direction.
That is recently, sir. It wasn't before, because I know when I started it was Senegal until recent years.
So when you say Senegal
back then,
that Senegal is like Abacha's time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's still, we've done 20 years.
I know.
I'm counting.
That's what I'm saying. Back then when I started,
yes,
it was like Senegal.
Yes.
But right now, the reason Nigeria is this powerful is because social media influence, and anything we do, we are always good.
So we're saying the same thing. Yeah. Do you get my point?
So they're looking up to us
exactly now. How have we leveraged it?
Because we feel we'll always be on top forever.
Yeah, but how have we leveraged it? Have we been able to say, okay, how can we empower brands? Do you understand? So when we talk about MTN and there are issues with MTN, the South African government is always quick to rise in defense. DSTV, go and check.
They're always
There's
in their
always a diplomacy playing by the background.
Yeah.
Because this is our own.
But we'll kill our own.
Here we go.
We'll kill our own. We'll tell the tailor you're not serious.
You understand?
You tell, can't you see how other people are doing it? So, but we will not show them by supporting.
So there must be a deliberate, process. So we've talked about how getting the tailors, training them.
Yeah.
So you have one aspect locked in.
Yeah.
We're talking about, can we empower, can the farmers, insecurity must be addressed for the farmers to go back to the cotton growing. I just heard, I think Ogun State, they're bringing in some, I think it's an Indian company, they're $2 billion garment factory. They want to start in Ogun State, and they're going to tie it with the cotton growers. That's fantastic.
I hope they will sustain that.
So I had the privilege of going to Calabar Garment Factory.
Okay, when they did that time.
I had the privilege of going to Calabar and I was in awe. I felt that was fantastic, because I said, oh, wow, this is good. Yeah. Now, Calabar, off the top of my head, because I'm thinking as a business person, oh, there's a seaport. Oh, wow, this is good for the state. This will catapult.
Yeah.
By 3:30, I lie not. By past 3, the lights started going off. So I asked the manager, I said, what's going on here? He said, we've closed.
By 3?
I said, sir?
By 3 p.m.?
I lie not. He said, we've closed. I said, you've closed. They said, we've closed for the day. And the staff boss had come. So they were running it like a government, like civil service. I'm not telling you third party.
I think you really, in these 25 years, really seen a lot of
because I'm passionate about it. This is what I have done for the better part of my life.
Yeah.
So I seek to know. Do you understand? I seek to know.
Maybe we'll have to come again because there are many things we have to talk about. Maybe we'll have to have another podcast some other time because it's a very deep topic and being very sensitive so that people that are watching too will not be offended. But this is a wake-up call to everybody. The industry is making trillions, according to you, that the figure I called earlier is underestimated. But we don't have formation. You talked about structure. We don't have structure. We don't have funding. The orientation.
Think about the amount of imports just on school uniforms.
Because right now, I just figured they don't even make school uniforms here anymore. They bring them in from China. So the money keep going out.
Of course. So which is why I said, even the bringing in multinationals will not help our cause because they will repatriate the funds back.
But is that not the same problem America is having? And Trump wants to stop that from happening.
Yes, but I wish him luck. It's a good thing. But the point is, you can't do it. You can't do it with fiat. You plan. All right. The Chinese that are in our faces today didn't wake up overnight. Growing up, you and I.
Yeah, we knew when
Taiwan. Exactly. You know when it was China. An insult when somebody else said he bought Taiwan. That was derogatory.
I'm old, oh Jesus. I can't
do you understand? Taiwan. That was derogatory. But right now,
Gen Z, they don't know Taiwan.
Do you understand? Right now, everything is China. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
Even the iPhone that we brag about.
It's China.
It's China, developed and conceptualized in California, but made in
China.
There we go.
So it's a global problem. Let's not be so hard on Nigeria.
So no, when we say it's a global problem, I dare say yes and no.
Yeah.
Because every sovereign country must protect its own. It's in your own interest for your own citizens and industry to survive. It's security and stability for yourself. It's critical. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
So irrespective of you see what Trump has done. He said, TikTok, you can't do this. Oh, if you want to operate in US, you're going to have to do this. As a country, as a sovereign nation, you must keep your eye on the ball. In this case, what is the ball? The people. The people. The people. And I'm talking in the fashion space, and this applies in every other sector of the industry.
Yeah.
Do you understand? How are we empowering the people? Now, empowering is not just throwing money. As funds or grants, loans are given or access to finance, it could be even equipment. Could we bring in companies making these sewing machines and equipment setting up here? Could we have after-sales support? So it's not just about you buying machines. What of when the machine breaks down? Do you know that even training people to even just the maintenance, that is the machine of the machines.
There was one old man that used to work on a machine many years ago, and the last I checked, he said he's dead. I said, how many people did he pass the knowledge to?
How many people want to learn?
And they said nobody. Nobody wants to learn.
But you see,
Nobody wants to learn.
Probably
people want to press computers.
Yeah, but if it was an enabling environment and people saw the future, because it behoves on you as a people, as a government, to your people to show them that the future. There must be a pathway. We've talked about not just the passion, but the profitability.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So what is the pathway for me as a mechanical engineer servicing sewing machines? Show me and give me the maths. Also, you have 10,000 fashion houses. Each fashion house has 20 machines or 50 machines. It's just like a football academy. That creates players. The academy doesn't really absorb all the players. They now sell some. Can we have that pool of artisans, right?
Okay. So
for the industry. So you know that, okay, I can go to this place and sign up tailors. What is NDE doing? Do you understand? What is National Vocational and Training? There's something, what are they doing? I want to start a fashion brand. Can I access 10 tailors that I know have been fully trained, properly trained in learning and character? Onboarding them. That is on one side. Let's go to the cotton. Let's go to the garment, the textile, right? Can we resuscitate these moribund garment factories, right? From the farm to the yarn, all right? What are we doing in that space? There's Cotton Growers Association. What are they doing? Do you understand? What do they need? The textile, Arewa textiles, and all these other fantastic, that we used to hear of in the 60s and 70s. Where are they? What does it take for them to start again? Because guess what? There are cheap Chinese imports being dumped into Nigeria, so it doesn't even make it competitive for them. Because of the African Free Trade pact that we've signed and we're a member of, it means that I can manufacture in Ghana and Ivory Coast and Benin and just dump in Nigeria. Whether I would like it or not, Nigeria still remains the biggest market, even in the West African region, meaning that because of the ease of production and reduced bureaucracies and bottlenecks, people rather produce offshore but still dump here, knowing that we have a voracious appetite when it comes to clothing. And purchasing, we are just like that as a people. So I've talked about two. Then the people in the fashion space, how can we scale them up? Okay, now scaling up is not just about money. It's just about knowledge. All right. How has Vietnam, how has Bangladesh, have they been able to do it? The average Nigerian, which I think the training institutes would be able to address, we're not very detailed people. We're not very detailed people. We just like it sharp. Do you understand? We need to speak to that. We need to be able to understand that process. Now, even the fashionpreneurs, where can they get education? Where can they get enlightened about?
But their fashion school lately, do you think that?
So you see, I refrained from saying fashion schools. I was very deliberate when I talk about vocational training, because what did the fashion schools? Who did they train? They don't train tailors. They train people who want to do fashion. It's still very small scale. The reality, because I've done a study, the reality is that there are some things that only government can do, and I'll tell you why. The people that we need as machinists, who are what we call tailors here, right? They do not have the money to pay for fashion school. All right? They don't have the money. The people that can pay for fashion school will not work for you and I.
They rather go start their own thing.
That's why they want to know how you did. That's why they're starting their brand. So what we need as a nation to really jumpstart us and the economy is not 1 by 1, 2 by 2. Can we have industries that have 500, 1,000? Why is Dangote being taken serious? It's not because he's the richest man. No. He's not. It's because the army of people Dangote employs, if he coughs, we'll all feel it. Think about it. Dangote sugar, cement, salt, refinery. Think about it. The army of people. Now, times it by, let's assume he employs 5,000 people. Let's just say. Times it by conservative, maybe 6 people. Because an average Nigerian takes care of at least 6 people. You have your spouse, you have kids, plus or minus 4. Sorry, let's say 4. That's 5 people. Aged parents on both on both spouses' side. So you're looking at what? I said 5. You might be 8. In some instances, some people are training their younger siblings, all on the same job. So really, if he's employing 5,000 people, if you do the math, it's actually about 50. Meaning that if he says, I don't even do again, that's a problem. Where would they go?
Give me the standard, how would I call it? The standard way of running a fashion house globally. Not the one we are doing here.
Okay.
No, having in mind that, like they say, you are not a tailor because you don't sew. But I want you to tell the world, or being Nigerians, because the world are used to the structure, how a standard fashion house is supposed to be.
So first and foremost, you need to understand that it takes a team, and your team will comprise of the fashionpreneur, which is the promoter. That's you. All right. You would have a design team. What are you doing? What are you into? And I always like people I mentor, I always ask them a very simple question. I want to do fashion. I say, what type of fashion? Do you understand? They say, oh, fashion. I said, no. Is it men fashion? Is it female? Even female. You have lingerie. You have kids.
Lingerie is still fashion.
Yes.
And it's very, very easy. The
The
industry is scaling.
Absolutely. It's human, which is what I'm saying, it's huge. Do you know how many hotels we have? Where do they get their beddings from? Do you get my point? So it's huge. But we're not really drilling down to see how big and the potentials this thing holds. So you have your design team, and design teams are, creatives who, could have some wild ideas, some basic ideas. You have the pattern makers. They are the ones that would create templates of this creative design, right? Then you now have your tailors. They don't have to be too many, all right? You have your tailors who can produce those pieces. You now have production houses. Production houses usually may not be owned by the fashion brand, all right? But what they do is that they have the capacity of scale. So if I give this kimono you're wearing or this kaftan I'm wearing, I can say, okay, I need this replicated in 1,000 pieces over this amount of, that's their job. Right now, those production houses have 5,000, 10,000, workforce. All right. So in Bangladesh, there was a time one of their factories collapsed, and they said, so I was hearing how many 1,000 people died. I said 2,000 people died. How many there can't be for the factory? Apparently, it's so big that it takes shifts.
So the work doesn't stop.
The work doesn't stop. So we have a lot of idle time we're not using as a nation. Do you understand?
So are you saying we are lazy people?
I didn't say that. We're saying we have a lot of idle time we're not using.
Okay.
We could be a lot more productive and efficient, but you see, things have to be put in place. What is the road to market, for instance, now? So there's a nexus between these fashion houses and even Nollywood or Hollywood, as the case may be.
Yeah.
Do you understand why? You watch a film, you said, oh, I like what that actor wore. You wait for the credits. You see that the suit he wore was by, the dress she wore was by. Immediately you go and find it online.
It's
or you
already
go to the
selling.
store. They've already stocked it.
Yeah.
So you see how the economy ties together. So right now we've talked about agriculture. We've moved to training. Then the fashion, we have now moved to the movie industry. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
Now, what now happens is that because you now have standardization, you have scale, tourism. You're going to Nigeria. Please, could you help me buy those kimonos with made it actually okay?
Yeah.
I need so sizes in so colors.
Yeah.
I bought it the last time. When we travel abroad, we're easy to call departmental stores, or buy they go so place, or buy me buy this, they use size this in Next, in Zara. What can we say about Nigeria? The best is, I will give my tailor making swam.
Which is not how it's supposed to be.
How do you scale? My issue is that at the point at which we are, we need scalability.
Yeah.
That is really how we get to play. And that is what what makes US US? Think about it. What makes US US, aside from the dollar, is their scalability. A typical US financial company in US doesn't want to hear small numbers. Tell them, venture capitalists, tell them you want to do numbers, you can reach 500 million people. Please let's have a seat. Do you get my point? So not until we're able to get to a point where we are scaling. We're not talking about individual brilliance. That's what we're talking about. This pair of basic chinos, can I do 1,000 pieces? And the quality
will be the
same over the sizes. That's what we're talking about.
So, but we do a lot of custom made in Nigeria, which is a problem because there was a time, shout out to our big brother Maatafo, in one of the classes, he said that he's getting tired of Nigeria. Everybody just want to do custom made. That the ready to wear is still a virgin land.
So
in Nigeria, what do you have to say about that?
He's spot on the mark.
Yeah.
However, the dynamics are different. Ready to wear, a lot of people are moving to that space, but we've not quite gotten it right yet. Ready to wear is not tailoring. And when I say that, people say, what do you mean is not tailoring? I say, look, ready to wear is more like an assembly line. All right, you have your patterns, right? You have your tailors. Each person focuses on one aspect and it's coupled. So so have you ever, if I'm sure as a Nigerian, you know what the younger generation now call thrift. What we growing up called okrika.
Okrika, yeah.
Fantastic.
Shout out to those who selling okrika back then. You saved their life. Every big man watching this video, no lie, you buy up. Now God can help you. You buy
now. You see that some they still have their labels on them.
Yeah.
And it's new. It's not been worn. So how did he make it to okrika?
How did he make it to okrika?
Exactly.
Tell us.
Good. So because it's a production line, sometimes it's a broken button, right? That is noticed. The cost of stopping that production to fix the button, it doesn't make sense. So they remove it out and put it as a factory reject.
Because some of them look very fresh.
They are fresh. Some of them slap the label. At the best, will cut the label into two or they will mark it. So that their brand integrity won't be compromised.
Yeah.
So do we have the structure? Do we have the capacity? Do we have the financing? Do we have the manpower for real ready-to-wear? It's actually where we should be as a nation.
Yes, because we are consuming so much. It
has the capacity to take at least 5 million people in terms of jobs. At least, for starters.
Okay. We are coming back there. Nigerians don't like, you see this style you're wearing. For instance, we go to church and 3 people are wearing that. Do you know Nigerians feel very uncomfortable? I know abroad that, I've seen it because they've seen them joke a lot about some parties, this one, especially Zara. You see people wearing the same thing. But Nigerians are very, very not in that space that they be comfortable that I entered a meeting and you're wearing the exact thing I'm wearing.
Yeah.
How do you want to handle that, considering that it's like an orientation thing?
So it depends on what you're speaking to.
Okay.
I say this because I would travel with my kids. And one of them went to Zara. And now I went to Paul and Bear. And now I went to Massimo Dutti. And they bought different things. And I smiled. That's why I was smiling. I said, it's one person that produced everything. They said, no, it can't be. And I said, Google
They're speaking British here at that point.
And I said, Google it. They didn't know that Zara had 5 labels. LVMH, Bernard Arnault, right, has maybe 30-something brands, fashion brands, Dior, Louis Vuitton.
Still the same company.
Still the same. So that your money has arrived, I don't want to be caught dead, doing Ashoebi with any other person.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Okay.
That's Massimo Dutti. That can be arranged. That's LV. Do you understand? That is high. So it's also market stratification. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
So, but the middle low, they just want to wear good clothing.
They don't care whether it's the same.
It's a 200 plus million market. 200 plus million. If you just speak to only 1 million people, you are home and dry. Think about it.
We're still talking numbers here.
It must boil down to the numbers. The numbers must make sense. You must crunch the numbers. So the guy that doesn't want to be seen caught wearing the same thing with somebody else is not your target audience for that line. How many people have a Rolls Royce? Yeah, and you are on the waiting list. In fact, I think is it a Ferrari? There's a car I heard about. You can't even just buy it, even if you have the money. You have to be
in queue.
You're not just in queue. You have to have had history.
Or where your money came from.
No, of that you've driven it before, or somebody that referred you that has driven it before.
Do you think Nigerian fashion is getting to that space? Because some people are feeling that our brands are becoming too pricey.
So like I said before, it's a relative term. There's something for everybody. That's the beauty of the Nigerian space. I might be pricey, but guess what? There's a guy in Area 1 or in Wuse Market that can knock you something equally as good.
So it's choice.
So that's why you have brands. That's why you have in UK, and I'm talking UK a lot because it's you have Primark, all right? You have Next, you have Zara. Even Zara, you have Massimo Dutti, you have Paul and Bear.
Zara, yeah.
Yes. So it is you that would advise yourself on where you belong, depending on your disposable income.
Okay.
Do you get my point? So where you enter problem is where when your hand no reach. So you move your size per time.
Mr. Adedoyin, this is a very, very fulfilling moment sitting with you today. And there are many questions that I put out there, which is already in the minds of the people. And I'm happy because you've done due diligence to this topic. It's not just 20-something years. It's not that you just are trying to find you've gone through it and the thing has gone through.
Still going.
Yeah, and you are still going.
Still going.
It's an endless. I made so many things I want to give up. People have asked me, this one you're doing podcast, you don't want to do fashion. I said, I beg. Fashion is on its own. Let me just ask questions because that's what my podcast is about. My podcast is just trying to bring the minds of the people today because people have not gotten very detailed with the truth. So someone just assume, especially the one that is out of school, these Gen Zs, because they can post things on Instagram, and which brings me to people copying people's styles. Do you think we should have a law? Because we used to do, what they call it before, those things in papers, catalog before. But right now, social media has made it worse. So, for instance, if Vicky Jen now comes up with a style, and she's very pricey because of what she put into her work, somebody forwards it to a tailor that is not yet Vicky Jen's. So we now have what we ordered for versus what you got. But at times, some people get it right. If Vicky Jen now probably walked into the event and sees some other person wearing what she just posted on her timeline, I'm sure she will just feel, I think this is my creation. Am I not supposed to have some level of protection? Because no matter what, I think there's a documentary I saw. I don't know how true it is. Social media, a lot of things goes on about fake designers' bag. If you enter a certain country, you say with fake designers' bag, I think you'll be arrested. Or how do you handle all this mix?
So it's neither here nor there.
Okay.
There's an adage that says copying is the greatest form of flattery. So people that are copying you are looking up to you. So that's one.
That's one, yeah.
Two is the truth of the matter is let's look at the automobile industry. You find that when models come out, there are a lot of similarities in different car brands.
Yeah.
The lights of this car looks like the lights of this car, or the grille. all right? But they just tweak
one or two
things just to what do you call it? Give a form of differentiation. Now let's go back to fashion. Really and truly. And before I say this, I remember Christian Louboutin. He wanted to sue, I think he even sued another
fashion brand
for using the red sole.
Yes, because that was his stuff.
And it was thrown out. It didn't hold water because he doesn't own the patent red as a color. Do you get my point? Now, why am I saying this? There are styles that are unbelievable, fantastic, as in these are really nice. And you wouldn't want anybody to copy it. However, the truth of the matter is, in this part of the world, our copyright laws are not really strong. We must understand that. 2, until we are able to scale, going back to the issue of scale. For instance, now, Vicky James, let's even leave the pricing. How many outfits can Vicky James really produce? Let's leave the pricing. Let's leave pricing about it. How many can she bid per time? How many can she produce?
As of now, because I'm sure she will listen to you now.
Do you understand? As of now.
Let me scale up.
Do you understand? Because scale, it still boils down to no matter how much we think we are making, right? Except you want to now remain strictly haute couture. And that there are lots of Parisian and Italian designers
that
are not known. And they want to remain in that little, but I will tell you for free, the likes of Zara will pick those styles and commercialize them. And at better prices. It's the way the world works, all right? That's how China has become China. What do? They take the product from Germany, from the country, they look at it, dissect it, try and improve upon it, reduce cost of production and churn it out there. That's just it. It's the same thing.
So nobody should be angry with when somebody copies.
It's only human.
Okay.
It's only human for us to be angry that we've put in so much work into developing a concept. It's only human. However, we just need to keep on going. And not until you are able to answer the question of scale, whereby it's all over the place. So it doesn't even make any sense for anybody to copy you anyway. Because it's already out there. Do you understand? Because with scale, you can also compete even on pricing. A lot of times, because of what it takes to even get one thing done, our prices are high. Cost of energy, cost of labor. At the time you have production houses set up and you have mass production, it becomes cheaper. That's why it's called mass production. It's for the masses. Do you understand? Back in the olden days in Britain, things like suits were really for the nobles, for the nobles, because it was made to measure. It was when the Asians came into the fray that you can get the suit knocked off in 24 hours or in 8 hours. Do you get my point? Because things done by hand, these have the road tailors who say, no, it has to be 4,000, 5,000 pounds. And how many people can afford that? What's the disposable income of the average UK household? Do you understand? So I think until we get to that point, we're still going to having this back and forth. Is it ethical to copy or not ethical? Because like I said, what's the capacity of the average designer anyway? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. I think I'm winding down now because I've asked key things, even though I feel we should talk again about many other things. Shout out to people that have gone ahead of us, likes of Moody. I've not heard about him in recent years.
Kessie Jabari.
Yes.
Dakova.
Thank you.
Latrice.
Thank you.
Sophisticates.
Thank you.
Vivid Imagination.
Thank you.
So I'm from the old stock. So those are the ones that...
I should be mentioning the new stock suit matter for making us believe in bespoke suit. Okay, well, thank you so much. And Vodi for making us feel like you can actually achieve doing this. Then, but people, I mean, when he turned 50, a lot of things flied on the social media space, on the comment section. But I want to bring it up because I'm sure he has heard about this. Do you think the fashion space in Nigeria, as it is now, can get somebody a Rolls Royce, can get someone a very big plaza, just doing tailoring work?
Yes.
Explain.
Scale.
The way you're telling me about scale,
so
looks very far compared to what we are doing right now.
So I'll tell you a couple of things. And I told you that when I went to Vodi's place, it just reminded me of Giorgio Armani's boutique hotel in Milan.
Okay.
To the best of now, where the atelier is, where Giorgio Armani's house is, right? He owns 90% of the buildings on that road. I still have the video.
Yeah.
On my phone. 90%. I mean, it was crazy that through tailoring, somebody will have 90%. I'm talking about massive buildings, all right? Now you can say, oh, but that's Giorgio Armani. Who says the Nigerian can't have
You're calling it tailoring, but he's doing more ready to wear.
No,
he's not doing bespoke. He's doing...
So, but he does bespoke. There's Armani Privé.
Okay, yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
When your money done,
okay, you go
you
there,
do privé.
Okay.
When your money cook well and it's stew, you do privé.
Okay.
But of course, the reality is that and I think he has almost 10 lines. You know, there's Armani, there's Imperial Armani. They all speak to different segments of society.
Yeah.
Now, coming back to your question, can fashion in Nigeria produce that? I believe it can, really. And I say this not in support of my friend and brother. I just believe it can if you get your right. So let's start. One, the network he has. You know, people don't even understand, which is why I said customer service, even as an integral part of business, his network is very rich, right? Who are you? How do you treat your customers? Because really your customers will refer. So the average Nigerian tailor, how customer centric is he?
Nigerian tailor, Nigerian fashion entrepreneur.
Tailor, fashion entrepreneur. Do you understand how customer centric are they? So let's start with that. That's one. Two. Then, even in terms of diversification, so aside from the tailoring, there are fabrics. So you come into in store, you can buy fabric. You're talking about fabrics from Switzerland, Austria, all over the world, and you can have it made. That's another source of income. Mm-hmm. You're talking about accessories like shoes. That's another source of income. Mm-hmm. All right, so I've named three. Now, if he decides to diversify, for instance, and says, oh, I'm having this much money, instead of me keeping it, because then again, the challenge of having 50 million, 100 million in the Nigerian bank, if I have 100 million as of last year, how much is the same 100 million worth in terms of in this year?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I could decide to invest it. I could decide to buy land. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that's what I did. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. I could decide to buy land. If I buy land 100 million last year and Wike does the road, and that land appreciates to 350 million, the question I will ask you is, how did I get that land 350 million? Was it from tailoring?
No, but from investment.
Well, where did money for investment come from?
From tailoring.
So was it from tailoring?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so he has probably, he does other businesses as well.
Well, he will answer that.
I can't wait to have you on the show.
But for me...
but we are talking fashion, that's why I'm bringing him up.
But for me, I would say that, is it possible? Well, he has done it.
Okay.
So, and I'm saying, because you've asked the question, I'm saying, because I see a lot of comments.
Yeah.
You know,
it was all over the place, yeah.
And I've had to tell personally...
They say it's money laundry. I've had to even say it's not money laundry.
I've even tried to tell him that he's dissipating too much energy trying to reply people. I've told him
social media is to validate...
he's dissipating too much energy replying people.
Replying people, okay.
You understand? He's dissipating too much energy. It's too much energy. It's just conserve it and keep on moving.
Yeah.
You understand? The truth of the matter is, you can either decide to take it and use it as an aspiration.
Okay.
And say, okay.
Are you bad belly about it?
Because like I said, growing up, Kessie and Sophisticated were the first people I saw that could use a whole building, up and bottom, to do fashion. Guy, it was small shops that tailors use now. Which one be say you take duplex? But right now, I mean, it's not a big deal again.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are loads of fashion houses that use duplexes, 2-3 duplexes joining together. It's not even enough.
Yeah.
Do you get my point?
Yeah.
So it just oftentimes it takes one person to break. So he's an OON, Officer of the Order of Niger.
Yeah.
Guess what? It means that people like us can become recognized by the government and be invested with an OON or a CFR. Do you get my point?
Yeah.
It means that it's doable.
Yeah.
It means that it's possible.
Okay.
So for me, I would like to see the positives that, okay, he's been able to break another record. He's been able to break boundaries. That means it's possible. I can aspire.
Will he honor us if we invite him for our podcast?
I believe he will.
Tell him I want to.
No problem.
Through him, because he's someone that we've known, but not that close like you are. Because I'm sure he will really love to talk about this. The reason I'm so that would be a part B of this. I didn't want to do recording again, but as it is now, there are many things that we are going to put out there for people to know is possible. And this information is also going to tell government it's doable.
Absolutely.
Because I think they are putting energy into the wrong things, and that's why it keeps backfiring. Meanwhile, there is an industry waiting to just be poured few fertilizer here or there.
So at this point, let me quick to add that I'm aware that this government created a creative fund. There's a creative fund. Okay. I think applications have closed.
Okay.
People were to sign in, and shortlisted candidates. They'll be shortlisted candidates, and
are you speaking for the government?
I'm not speaking for the government. I'm just trying to create a balance.
Okay.
Because I like balance in what I do. You know, just when you ask about body.
Your Yoruba brother is in government.
No, so it's not about Yoruba. I'm not just joking. No, I'm just saying, because you see, it's important that, you know, this podcast is going out there.
Yes, yeah. Before it looks like they are not doing anything.
And I told you about Jonathan, and I said you win.
Yes.
And I think that was fantastic.
Yes.
Right. And and they disburse money through Bank of Industry.
Yeah.
There's still a Bank of Industry. There's a creative fund. I'm not sure of the full details. Okay. What am I trying to say? You said something. They may not be doing enough, but they're doing something. Yeah. It is now, how do they zero in? Because it's one thing to throw money at a problem. What are the KPIs? What are the milestones? So that people will also follow through. If you give me money and there's no supervision, there's no follow through, I go and buy a Rolls Royce now, Seth, Abi.
Yes, I buy Rolls Royce.
Okay, what should I buy?
I don't know.
Ferrari.
Maybe something on the one has Rolls Royce.
Okay, that's true. That's true. Okay. you know. So I think there has to be more. But for me, a lot more can be done in this industry. The potential, like I said, it's up top of my head. It has the potential to be the third next money spinner after agric and oil. And if you look at Maslow's economic students, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, clothing, food, shelter, they'll always form the base of the pyramid.
The honor of Zara, I've forgotten his full name. The honor of Zara, Sha.
The honor of Zara is Amanse Ortega.
Amanse Ortega.
Amanse Ortega.
A few years ago was the second richest man in the world. Fashion. So
LVMH.
Yes, became the richest man.
Bernard Arnold.
Yes,
also.
Fashion.
Absolutely.
So, sir, I'm looking at the future number one person in the world right now. Future.
Yes.
Yeah. And I believe in what you're doing. I believe that you're aware that you're not going to stop until we get it right. Thank you for the information you've given today.
It's been a pleasure.
And thank you for also promising that Bodhi is going to be on this seat.
I didn't promise.
What did you say?
You said, "Can I speak with him if he'll be on your?" And I said, "Yes." Don't put me in a box. I didn't promise. I can only speak with him.
Yeah, tell him we are very user friendly.
I can only speak with him.
That we don't we don't bash people, because I know that he spends a lot of money on publicity and he's doing great. But I think
so. That's another thing. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Publicity. So I'm just saying that there's so many things working in his favor. There's so many things, and of course, he's also been in the industry for like 25 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I call someone that is 25 years so that...
so picking will be 25 years, bro.
How old are you, son? Okay, you have 5 years to blow.
25 years, no be small begin now. You understand? So, so I will put in a word. Of course,
at least you see how we are
euphoria.
very detailed. It's not because some people are afraid of podcasts because they feel some of them are just trying to put heads together. If he sits with us here, it will really go a long way because right now he's a role model to a lot of people, and so that he can really break it down. I've been in an event that he was a speaker at Bank of Industry stuff. I know that the platform, Bank of Industry, has supported him as well. But there are many people that don't even know how to get there. So they see government think, I beg, they work. He has taken advantage of the system. Just few knowledge. So having him is just to talk about that part. So that people will not just see Rolls Royce and big building, but it would take us through the journey. So that's why I'm appealing. If that can happen, I can. If we can't come here, we can go to his shop and set up. He's an Oga, But if he doesn't mind, it will also be so that there's some level of consistency with our venue.
Okay.
I've made it many times.
No, but he's a down-to-earth guy.
But I've seen people that they just blow small. They unfollow me. They block my line. And it's just individual thing.
Just sometimes there's a lot. I had a client that was saying, "Oh, I called you didn't pick. Oh, I called you, this is disrespectful." I said, "Okay, if you know the number of things I do, you would cut me some slack."
Okay, Mr. Adedoyin, aka Baldon, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for giving us this well of knowledge. We are not going to take it for granted. You've always been a role model and a mentor from a distance. I'm not tired of you. I'll keep coming, and thank you everyone for staying tuned. It's been a long one though, but I hope this information will go a long way to help you as a business person, especially in the fashion industry. I've been there for 10 years. At times I feel like running away. I'm here. I'm sure you like what I'm wearing. They made it for me, made in Nigeria. Thank you. God bless you for coming.